What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady, and we got a quick and yet great show for you guys. We got a lot to talk about. Upcoming events is going to be first up. Then we're going to be talking about some X-Men 97 and just how brilliant that's been. I'm also going to be doing a big movie pass giveaway to the Ryan Reynolds movie, If. But first, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. That was my lovely daughter. All right, folks. First up is Geeky Weekly Headlines. And like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a big If movie giveaway coming up in just a few minutes. So if you're here, stick around because I'm sure you're going to want to be a part of that. Not just the cities that we normally hit, but we're also going to be giving away tickets to some of the major cities across the country. So hopefully, it's going to be a movie in your neck of the woods. First up is to talk about the biggest convention in my neck of the woods. If you're in the South Texas area, I am talking about Superhero Comic Con 2024 going on June 20th through the 23rd in San Antonio area, like I mentioned. Previously announced are names like Ernie Hudson. There's a whole slew of like free autographs that they're going to be giving away. Brandon Routh is going to be in attendance. There's like a whole group of Superman that are going to be there that was announced a few weeks ago. They also got names like Diego Luna, star of Andor, who has not made a lot of appearances in the U.S. This might be his first, I believe, in the U.S. So if you want to see him, you can catch him at Superhero Comic Con this coming June. And also recently announced the one and only Stephen Amell. That's right, Arrow himself. He also is trying to get Heels back on the air. Unfortunately, they pulled the plug on that one, but it's moving over to Netflix, and they're going to try and aim for a season 3, which I hope they do because it's a very fun show. So, if you want to catch Diego Luna, Stephen Amell, and a whole slew of just incredible guests, be sure to start planning by going to pmxevents.com or Superhero Comic Con on social media. All right. Let's see here. In recent news, Jeff Bridges is coming back to the Tron series. He's going to be in Tron Ares, which is announced for later this year. And he's fantastic. I'm so glad he's still a part of it. Hopefully, it's not just like a small cameo in this one. Hopefully, it's a substantial role. But yeah, I cannot wait for that. Also, let's see here. Well, let's start with this one first. Yesterday was the 5-year anniversary since the Night King was defeated in Game of Thrones. And I know we all had our feelings and thoughts about it when it dropped, but I'm going to come out and say I'm glad it went the way they did. Now, if you feel differently, go ahead and voice your opinion in the chat. But since we've had all this time to reflect on it, I'm glad it went down the way they did. It was a great sort of lead up and a build up to the Night King getting slain, and Arya Stark took the final blow. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Game of Thrones since it's ended. But yeah, celebrating the anniversary, 5-year anniversary. All right, let's see here. There is some news about the Deadpool and Wolverine end credit scene. I don't know if you've been seeing this chatter online, but I thought I'd talk about it for a bit, and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. We all know Marvel loves their end credit scenes. Most of the time, they lead somewhere or they mean something. Sometimes they're just throwaways, but most of the time, they mean something. Well, there's a few people who are either insiders or they're around production, like people close to Marvel who've maybe even worked for Marvel, maybe like a writer, let's for instance, who've already stated the end credit scene is like a must see. And I know that goes without saying, but the praise for it already goes beyond anything you've heard before. And maybe it's just, hyping up the movie, but do we really need to hype it up anymore? I don't think so. Some are claiming it is the best moment in Marvel. Not the best end credit scene, but like the best scene that Marvel's ever put on the big screen. Which is big. That's a big praise. That's high praise. That's really raising the bar. So I'm trying to think for myself, and I want you to let me know as well. What would be something so spectacular that they're willing to, like, put their bets on the table and say best moment in the MCU thus far? MCU has been around since what, 08? Something like that. So best moment in the MCU in the last 15 years. 16 years? 16 years. What would it be? My guess, and I have no evidence to kind of support this otherwise. My guess is it could be Deadpool and Wolverine being a part of a previous movie, prior movie. And it can't be something where, like, they change the past. We all know that doesn't really work, right, in the MCU. But it would need to be something like that, because otherwise, what would be a moment in time where the fans would be so engaged, or like so engaged with, have so much invested in it has to be a moment that we've already seen before, but now it incorporates Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Dare I say the Endgame final battle? And again, they can't change the outcome. That shouldn't be what we do here. That would just make a whole lot of mess of everything. But I wouldn't say it would go back as far as the X-Men films, which are the first Marvel-ish movies, like that we were getting consistently, franchise wise. That's all I can think of, is like it's got to be a moment we recognize, that we're invested in, and that Deadpool and Wolverine are now a part of, and that's like somewhat canon now. Other than that, I don't know what else it would be. There's no other actors that we really need to see. Like, we've seen Patrick Stewart. This is Hugh Jackman. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. I mean, Toby and Andrew have already come back as Spider-Man. Those would be the only other two guys. Like, when you think about the list of Marvel actors, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Toby Maguire, Andrew, they're all up there, right? They're like the top four. I don't think there's anybody who fans would be more excited to see come back. That's just my thought. My other thoughts on the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, since we're sort of on the topic. Stars of Podcast says MCU X-Men introduced. I like the idea, and I am wondering, are we already there? I think not enough people saw the end credit scene from the Marvels. Like, Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy, Beast. That's it. Like, the X-Men are here. Hugh Jackman's not the first X-Men. The Beast, Kelsey Grammer, first X-Men. And I feel like we're not talking about it enough, because the Marvels didn't do as much as first Captain Marvel did, right? First Captain Marvel, over $1 billion. The Marvels didn't get up there or have as many viewers, probably, but doesn't change the fact that We've seen the X-Men. They already here. And by here I mean not in 616, or are we in 19999 right now? Either way, in the MCU, the X-Men don't exist, but they exist in an alternate universe. That's why we've seen Beast, and that's why I think this Wolverine is not the Wolverine we've seen in past X-Men films. Let me explain. The trailer is interesting, and I did a reaction video that you guys can catch later on. But if you pay attention to sort of the context clues or the things that are being said, it there's one moment where they say something along the lines of, that's why this Wolverine is responsible for the death of all of his friends, which in canon of the X-Men franchise, Sir Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, was the reason for the fall of the X-Men and most of their friends. So I'm willing to bet that this Wolverine that we're going to see in the next Deadpool movie is actually one that we've not seen before. I'm willing to bet this one, not to say that his fate isn't the same. I still think that, Wolverine probably has a similar fate across all timelines, but he's not going to be the one that we've seen in X-Men, X-Men 2, X3, United, or whatever they were. I don't remember the names anymore. Logan, Wolverine Origins, all of those. Not the same Hugh Jackman. This one will be different. Perhaps we get a backstory. We understand what this one's gone through, and we'll go from there. We'll learn more about him. We'll understand the nuances of this character as opposed to the one that we're all familiar with. But his story needs to be important to the plot of the next movie. And I don't think the previous Wolverine that we're all familiar with has a story that will be beneficial to the plot of the next movie. Yeah. So I'm willing to bet this Wolverine is a different one than we're used to. What else? What else? James Gunn has been teasing some Green Lantern news. Switching over to DC, he's been posting a picture of what is clearly the fist of a Green Lantern, shining his Green Lantern ring in the sky. Fans are speculating that it is Hal Jordan that James Gunn is referencing, and he's been posting about this for a few days now on various social media pages. And if he's just doing it to sort of get a rise out of fans, that's rude. But I feel like James Gunn is now fully aware and must calculate everything that he either says or posts online, because clearly the fans, they weigh in on every single word that he says. So he must be calculated in what he does. He must consider what he posts on a daily basis, and so this is a calculated action. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some sort of Hal Jordan Green Lantern casting news. For what movie, I'm not completely sure. But I do hope that it is a Hal Jordan casting. And, you know, we already had one before. We all know that Ryan Reynolds was Hal prior in previous films. But I don't think we can redeem that one. I really don't. And it's nothing on Ryan. It's just we all want to kind of forget it. The motivation of the character himself was not fully fleshed out. Like go back and watch it if you dare. But Hal Jordan in that movie was just not a likable person. He was a test pilot. He was, borderline. I don't know if he had an alcohol problem. I think he might have. And he was irresponsible a lot of the time. And like the first thing that we see him do is he goes out against his drone in this test scene, this test pilot scene, and he shows the limitations of the drone, causes it to fail. He basically defeats it head to head, which causes a massive government contract to be pulled from this company, and they ended up laying off like a ton of employees. Like, that's not a likable guy. We're not supposed to root for this guy. Like, maybe, we want him to turn over a new leaf, I guess. But clearly it's like this guy is kind of a d-bag, and I don't know if the ring can see things that we cannot see, right? The ring can sense things below the surface. However, like, that wasn't a likable character, and the movie went on was really convoluted from there. And so yeah, nothing really good ever came out of that. However, all that to say is we should get a new person casted. I don't have anybody on the top of my list. Um, I mean, is it too on the nose to go after a guy like um oh gosh, what's his name? Glenn Powell. I mean, I know he's already doing everything, and I know he was in Top Gun Maverick, but the guy clearly looks pretty good in a flight suit and as an officer. So might as well just keep it simple, right? Glenn Powell's a likable guy. He's doing a lot of other stuff right now, so maybe he's too busy. But his star status is continuing to rise, and I could really see someone like him as Hal Jordan. So that would be pretty amazing if you ask me. And if it's not him, we're all waiting for his Captain America, Captain Planet, Captain Planet movie. So we'll see how that comes out. He's also in Twisters. So yeah. Oh, and he was also announced in The Running Man. We can talk about that as well. The Running Man has been announced featuring Glenn Powell, and this is a modern take of Schwarzenegger's Running Man. I'm fairly certain. And you might be saying like, "Oh, why is that interesting?" or whatever else. But the reason is because it's being directed by Edgar Wright. And I love me some Edgar Wright. I am still disappointed to this day that we did not see Edgar Wright's version of the original Ant-Man movie. We all forgot, right? We all forgot that the Edgar Wright had basically come up with the script, I believe, and he also came up with the not the concept. It was the sort of the test footage that it wasn't leaked. It was like released, and everybody just loved it. Edgar Wright came up with all that. It was his style. It was his vision. It was his eye that got Ant Man off the ground. So yeah, he actually proposed it to Marvel, and then they butted heads. I believe from what the reporting was, it was all about how they were going to incorporate Falcon, not Falcon. Yeah, Falcon in that movie. And Edgar didn't want to do it. He was like, "No, my movie's good. We don't need to kind of put too many things in here, too many ideas." And they were like, "No, it's the it's the cinematic universe, and we need Falcon in this for like a minute." And Edgar's like, "All right, well, look, I'm out." That's what the report was. That's exactly how it all went down. So whether that's true or not, not sure, but that's what I heard. All right. Let's see here. Now's a good time to get to our movie pass giveaway. And so for those of you watching right now, we are putting a link in the chat. Scope it out. This is going to be on our website at countdowntothegeeks.com if you can't get to the link itself. And this is for you and a friend to go check out If, featuring the one and only Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds. This is also directed by John Krasinski. If you haven't heard of this, this is all about, and this is for people who grew up with an imaginary friend. Now, can you imagine having the power to still see them? That is exactly what happens in the movie If, featuring Ryan Reynolds. It's from Paramount Pictures, like I mentioned, directed and also written by John Krasinski. And it's going to be a great family film. You're going to love it, right? Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski behind the director's chair, behind the camera. That just sounds like a good time to me. It is both touching and a thrilling movie that masterfully balances humor, drama, and heart. Discover the incredible story of a girl with the unique power to see imaginary friends and join her on this magical adventure. Not only featuring Ryan Reynolds, but also includes Kaylee Fleming, John Krasinski, Liza Colonzayas, and the voices of Phoebe Waller Bridge, Steve Carell, Emily Blunt, and many, many more. Join the imaginary friends on a journey full of surprises and fun. It's in theaters on May 17th, but we are giving you passes to go catch it on the Saturday before, which is May 11th. So click that link, go register on the website, and go check out the movie If from the Countdown City Geeks. Alrighty. Now for the final topic of tonight. Um, I hope you guys have been watching this. I really do. X-Men 97 has been an absolute breath of fresh air. Not only that, but it has taken something that I grew up with, and it has enhanced it, which is extremely hard to do. It is really difficult to take something and, I'm not saying make it better, but add to it in a way that we can appreciate. That's what's challenging. It takes a lot of it takes a very thorough, detailed story to complete something like that. The writers behind this project have been masterful in what they're doing. Not only did they, stay true to most of the canon of the original series, but they've also been able to, in a way, write this for a mature audience. And what I'm not saying this is like an adult animation series. What I mean is like the situations are intense. They are dramatic. The emotions in that the emotions that they are capitalizing on rip the heartstrings out. So, I mean, I would not let young kids see this movie because I'm afraid they would go into a dark depression. I have a relative who is a diehard X-Men fan, and he's been in shambles about some of these episodes. And if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I strongly recommend you check out X-Men 97. Still going on. We have 3 more episodes left, I believe. And this week's episode was all about finally revealing who's pulling all the strings, who is behind everything that's been happening. They've been playing 3D chess while everybody's been playing checkers. And so I'm not going to talk anymore about it because if you haven't seen last week's episode, I don't want to spoil it. But the twist, the turns, the reveals, everything has been stellar. Some people have a problem with the animation, whereas I'm like, no, it takes what the old cartoon used to look like, and it's almost I mean, it's mimicked the animation so closely, but just, kind of made it high def, HD, if you will. I appreciate it. I don't know why some people have a problem with the animation. They say it looks too clunky. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's not stop motion, for crying out loud. It looks fantastic. I don't know why people have a problem with it. It's so good. You know who's really good? Cyclops is so good. I think that he is almost too good. Whereas Wolverine was the badass previously, Cyclops is clearly the man. And he's almost outshining good old Logan, but it's all good. It is all good. I'm glad that he's getting his time to shine. Um, Jean is great. Rogue is great. Hank McCoy hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, he's still kind of the same old Hank. The performances are great, and just the quality of writing is so darn good. Episode 5 is going to throw you for a loop. And dare I say, this has really where filled the void that Young Justice left. Young Justice was X-Men 97 before X-Men 97. Young Justice, they didn't have any limitations. They did whatever they wanted. They threw in the F bombs. Nobody was safe. They really went all out. They didn't hold back. X-Men 97 feels that way. I want to hear your thoughts on it, though. Have you been watching X-Men 97? Let us know your thoughts on it. Who's your favorite character so far? I mean, everybody's really had their moment in the sun. It's been fantastic. Especially like Storm. She's had to kind of find herself through these first six episodes. She's been great. You know, I'm willing to bet that because Morph is sort of the newer character to this lineup, we've not seen exactly why he's in here. I feel like they wrote him in for a reason that's going to happen later on. Don't know what that reason is, but keep an eye on Morph. He's going to have something big to do later on, maybe in the finale. We'll see what happens. But I believe they've already announced a season 2, which is incredible. It's so good. Also, shout out to Ross Marquand, friend of the show, who's been voicing Charles Xavier on this show. He's done an incredible job. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out X-Men 97 and let us know what your thoughts are on the show. All right. Don't forget that click the link to see if we're giving away if movie passes in your city. Be sure to register and arrive early if you are one of our winners. And be sure to subscribe and follow us because we have a lot more movies to give away all summer long. That'll do it for me. My name is Ted, aka Steady, with the Council of the Geeks, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.